Welcome back to another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. It's myself, Culturecams, and I'm back again with episode number 15. So, it's been an exciting week actually. Loads of stuff has gone on this week. We had that amazing Champions League performance from Mbappe. We had a Haaland reply with his own 2 goals. We had, of course, Messi was involved in the game, the PSG Barcelona game. The crashing went on. There was loads of things that went on, but first and foremost, I'm going to get into it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share this with your people. Make sure you pause this video and like it already. You don't need to watch the rest of the video to know you're going to like the video, so make sure you do that. Anyway, let me get straight into it. Let's talk about talent. And there was no better display up than this week when Kylian Mbappe went to the Camp Nou, Camp Nou, whatever you want to call it, whatever order you want to put it in, and smashed in a hat-trick on Leo Messi's head, on the GOAT's head, in his backyard. It was something special, and it was one of them days where, you know, everyone, I've mentioned it before, I think on Stoppage Time, you know, there's moments where you're like, okay, I really need to start. It shouldn't be now where you need to take in what Mbappe is, but there's times where you're just like, all right, something special just happened. And Mbappe is funny because he's already had, in his short career, he's already had many of these moments. Think about what he did to City. Think in 2017. You think about what he did to Dortmund, and he scored against Juventus, and then he scores in the World Cup final, and then he bangs against Argentina. Listen, Messi don't want to see Mbappe outside. It's like when Mbappe links Rashford, you don't want to see him outside. When Mbappe links Messi, he doesn't want to see him outside, because now we're talking Argentina, France. Mbappe absolutely destroyed France that day. I think it was 2 penalties. Oh, sorry, he did destroy Argentina. I think he won 2 penalties or maybe 1 penalty in that game. Scored 2 goals. The performance. Listen, if anyone just wants to go watch a performance, type in Mbappe destroys Argentina. That performance was amazing. Type that in on YouTube and you'll see it all. But again, we go back to that game, and when you talk about, listen, what I've said before is let's stop all the talk about generational this, generational that. Generational, for me, there's a lot of things that come into it. It's the pre-hype. The pre-hype comes into it. The talent. The things that you've done in the game. So, of course, there's been players that become generational players. You talk about, let's say, for example, someone like Iniesta. Generational player. But when he was coming through, he wasn't spoken about in the ways that, oh, this guy's going to be this God-given player. When you come in, generational players, for me, they've had the pre-hype. They have to live up to things that are being expected from them from young. From very, very young, Mbappe was spoken about. He's going to be this, he's going to be that. And when he come through, straight away, he just that's the definition of bursting onto the scene with what he did with Monaco and in the Champions League, etc. Won the league for Monaco. He didn't win it himself, but he was part of a good Monaco team that won it. But the guy continues to deliver. And the crazy thing is, I feel like there's a great generation of players coming through. And I've mentioned it before. I call it, like, you know, the 2000 babies, basically. The guys that were born in the noughties. I feel like the talent of them players are absolutely ridiculous. When you look at, you know, there's Fodens, there's Sanchos and Haaland and Mbappe, and the list goes on. There's some real Mbappe was born in 98, but the guy could even speak in the 90s. So we're going to count him as a noughties baby. But you look at what he's doing, he continues to make you say, wow. Continues. Neymar wasn't there. The one thing that, you know, there was at least that little thing, like the 2 times Neymar's been away, you know, Real Madrid comfortably beat PSG, Man United done that great comeback or whatever against PSG, and those were the games that Mbappe was there without Neymar. So there was a question mark going in there. Can he do it without Neymar? Or is Messi just going to show his class and run away with it like we know Lionel Messi can do? Nope. That day was the day where Mbappe... You know what? Let's be honest. When he did that in France against Argentina, that was a warning sign. That was a warning sign that I'm coming. Like, word to my boy Fuad, we coming. That was a we coming moment by Mbappe. And I'm sorry, you look at what he did against Barcelona. That was give me the crown. That was, he looked at Messi and he said, this is the passing of the guard. I'm going to be the next best player in the world. This is my era now. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. If people don't like it, they don't like it. You can still call Messi the best player in the world. That's perfectly fine. But Mbappe really said, listen, this is going to be my era now. And the great thing about it is that the next player that we talk about, the next one that we talk about, is he going to be the next one? Erling Haaland. This brother came true. And listen, guys, just go back to episode number 1 of Don't Shoot the Messenger and watch that back. Everything I said about Haaland and Mbappe has come true, mate. Everything that I said is going to take place with them two. Everything that I said, that I think those are the two only ones that you can really call generational. For me, Haaland, generational. For me, and Mbappe. Those two, listen, Greenwood, Foden, this guy's top talents. João Felix, they're not Haaland and Mbappe. Those, is that 18 goals in 13 Champions League games for Mbappe and for Haaland? It's scary. And what I love is that, you know, Haaland came through and he said the other day, listen, Mbappe inspired me to go and perform. And if anyone knows the history between PSG and Dortmund, when Haaland scored and he done that celebration, they all mocked him. So he might be saying it in a way as saying, oh, he inspired me. But there might be a bit of bad blood between them two. We don't really know, because I know Haaland and Dortmund didn't take that well at all when PSG mocked them. And it was Mbappe and Neymar who really frontline in the mockery of his celebration. So is this going to be a rivalry that we're going to have define the generation? Is it going to define the decade? Is these two players going to be the ones that, you know, we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi? Is this going to be our new Ronaldo and Messi? Two players that can go on and dominate and define the era. 10 years of doing it. I don't want to put anything on anybody and say that they're going to be able to do it for 10, 15 years, because how often do you get that? You get Ronaldo and Messi, the only ones that have really done that at the same time. But if there's any two players that are going to be primed, to do this, it's Haaland and Mbappe. And I'm not going to lie, listen, people are talking about bringing them to the Premier League and all of that. I want them to go to Barcelona and Real Madrid, man. Bring back the Clasico, man. Like the Clasico's dead, man. No one cares about the Clasico no more. Ronaldo left. No one gives a shit no more. Get Haaland and Mbappe, one of them, to Barcelona and Real Madrid, and all of a sudden, we've got a Clasico back, the biggest fixture in world football, and the two biggest stars the two biggest talents in the game. That is what I really want to see. And my question for you guys is, who is the better player? Because the debates have already started. I'm actually literally having debates with my boys. Some of them are saying Haaland's more unique than Mbappe. And in a way, I can understand that. How many strikers that big can dribble, that fast, explosive? It's scary. Like, the guy looks like Terminator. Like, he was born in a lab, like Frankenstein or something. But Mbappe, yes, you've had more prototypes like Mbappe, you know, fast, the build, the fast, speedy. You know, we talk about Henry, we talk about all these players. So I get what they mean by it. Haaland's more unique, but does that mean he's better? I'm still more towards Mbappe. I just think something about Mbappe is just, I don't even know what it is. He's just different gravy. So I want to know, who do you guys think is going to, you know, they were talking about who's going to win more Ballon d'Ors and stuff. I don't want to talk about Ballon d'Ors, who's going to win more Ballon d'Ors. Just who's going to define the generation. Is it going to be Mbappe? Is it going to be Haaland? I can't wait to see their next move, man. Haaland available, 75 million for 75 million euros next summer. Mate, that's going to be a scramble. Like, listen, when Eden Hazard said that he's leaving, I remember the scramble for Hazard. Chelsea, Man City, and United scrambling for him. Do you know what he just tweeted? We had the whole world waiting. I'm going to the Champions League winner. Hey, that's what Haaland might do, you know. I'm going to the Champions League winner. Because, listen, the demand is going to be silly. And Mbappe, he's available. His contract ends next summer. Who knows what he's going to do? he might stay. If I was, it's tough. It's tough because I actually think PSG are good enough to maybe go and have some Champions League runs. So maybe he might not need to leave right now. He's only 22 years old. Or was it 22 years old. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what takes place. Because listen, if Mbappe goes, we're not talking 75 million. We're talking double that. We're talking 150 million potentially. So who knows what's going to happen with him? Who knows? I'm very interested to see that. But as I'm talking about the new guys that are coming and dominating the era, let's talk about the guy who has defined this generation, Lionel Messi. Now, what is next for Messi? What is next? For me, I'm not going to lie. When I looked at that game and I saw Mbappe strip him like that, I was like, nah, Messi can't be going out like this. Like, I'm Team Ronaldo, you know. I don't really care. Like, you know, I'm Team Ronaldo, but I don't really... It doesn't make me diss Messi because I like Ronaldo. But when I'm seeing him get embarrassed like that, I'm like, yo, is staying at Barcelona hurting his legacy more than it is doing good now? You know, the more and more goals he scores at Barcelona, he's setting more records of most goals at one team of all time, and he's going to continue to be the furthest La Liga highest scorer, and he's going to have all these records, most appearances in the La Liga ever, probably already has the most La Ligas ever, 7 Pichichis when the record before, I think Di Stefano had 5. Like, he's going to, if Messi wants to, he can just literally end all hope for the future generation to have any record ever in Spain. He already basically has, let's be honest. But these losses that Juventus battered them, Roma, Liverpool, Bayern, and now just another that's 5 years of embarrassment. I'm not talking 2-1. I'm talking 8-2, 4-0, 3-0, 4-1. Like, it's serious damage. And of course, in them games, Messi in the second legs, but this was the first leg, has only scored this goal. He scored this goal in the first leg. He scored a few in the first leg of the other ones, but in the deciding games, in the crunch time games, when teams come and turn up, he's basically kind of been non-existent. So in a way, is it doing him more damage? For me, it is. I think it might be time for Messi. Just listen. He wanted to do it in the summer. Of course, it's too political. You can't, come on, you're Lionel Messi. You can't just turn around one day and say, hey, I'm out of here, and think they're going to facilitate that in one summer. Impossible. Arguably the greatest player of all time, marketable, everything is ridiculous. It's not going to happen in one summer. But now that they've had the opportunities to potentially plan for it and prepare for it, I think it's time just to let him go. And I think the team might flourish more without the presence of Messi there now. Bring through, you can kind of see what your future is going to be. Right now, you don't know what your future is going to be because you've got Messi there, aging. He's going to keep still doing his thing, goals and assists. We know that. But is that going to benefit Barcelona going forward? I don't think so. So for me, he needs to just, they need to just now allow him to leave. And his only two options, realistically, let's be honest, is PSG and Man City. I don't know where I would go if I was him. That's a tough one. Would you go with your boy Neymar, a generational Mbappe, and be part of basically an MSN 2.0? It's a time you're replacing Suarez with Mbappe, which is not a bad replacement. So, or would you go Man City with your manager Pep, your old manager Pep, who got the best out of you, to dominate the Premier League as we know they're going to do? Maybe if they don't bring the Champions League home, is he going to bring them the Champions League? That will do massive for his legacy. But I saw Ronaldo get up and leave at 33 years old, I believe it is. He went to Serie A. I think, you know what? Let's look. Just the same way people used to doubt, can Pep come and do it in England? Can Pep do this? Can Pep do that? And he just said, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to come to England. I'm going to dominate in the same way that I know. I think Messi has them question marks. Can he do it in another league? Can he do it? So if I was him, I would make the move. And answering my own question, I'm going to ask you guys as well. Who would you go to? PSG or Man City if you're Messi? I think if I was him, I'd go to Man City. I'd go to Man City if I was him. Just that Premier League allure, just to be able to say, yeah, I bossed the... Imagine if Messi comes to the Premier League and scores and does like breaks the goal record or something. Listen, his legacy is sitting nicely. His legacy is sitting nicely. So we all know if Messi goes to PSG, it's going to be a walk in the park. The guy is basically might even do a Kawhi Leonard and take some games out, you know, only playing the Champions League, you know what I mean? But realistically, I feel like he should just come to the Premier League. I'm not going to say anyone's got any question marks on him, but I just think seeing him in the Premier League, the most exciting league in the world, the biggest the league that has the most attraction, revenue, everything, I think it'll be best for him to go to Man City, and I'm looking forward to that. And finally, last but not least, talking about Man City, I saw today, just a quick touch on this one. I saw today Man City played, who did Man City? Man City played Arsenal. Comfortable win, 1-0 win, comfortable. I know 1-0 doesn't sound comfortable, but when it's Man City and the solidity, it is comfortable. And it made me think, like, it's actually very funny when you see that Man City bully Arsenal week in, week out. Literally, week in, week out, Man City are just bullying them and bullying them and bullying them. When you consider the fact that Man City started their history, they started their generation by taking players like Adebayor, Clichy, Toure, Sagna. Am I missing anyone? Adebayor, Clichy, Sagna, Toure, Nasri. Man City basically looked at Arsenal and said, we're going to take you, we're going to take your players and we're going to make our club off your players. And it's bizarre. Do you know what? Like, when that era started, when that process started of them taking them players, that was basically Arsenal conceding, we no longer want it no more. Do you know what I mean? We no longer want it because Man City were on the rise and they basically built their foundations of Arsenal's players. When you think about it, now the fact that they're bullying Arsenal every single time, it's a demolition job when they turn up against Arsenal. And you get so many Arsenal fans nowadays that are like, it's like they're City fans. Like, they live through supporting City. Literally, I've got a bunch of boys in my group chats. They know who they are. They basically live off supporting Manchester City. Because that's all you can do right now. But when you actually think that Man City said, we're going to take a spot in that top 4, or we're going to take that spot as a big team, we're going to take one team out of here, it was Arsenal. And let's not forget, Van Persie had the United contract and City contract on the table. They almost took Robin Van Persie. City basically built themselves of taking players off Arsenal amongst what they'd done. And from that moment, that's when Arsenal basically said, hey, we're not going to be a big club anymore. We're not going to be a big club and go for titles and Premier Leagues anymore. Because Man City have taken that role. And now Man City are about to win their fifth Premier League title. That means they go equal with Chelsea. Listen, it's time to stop saying City are not got no history and stuff. They got 5 Premier Leagues on their way. So until, yes, I understand they need to win in Europe, but it's been basically a decade now. It's basically been a decade of Man City dominance. They've dominated since their first title. They've won 5 Premier Leagues. They're going to win 5. So it's time, if we're going to say, you know, when Chelsea had been a decade in, Chelsea fans and people would say, you know, Chelsea have history because it's been this long. 5 Premier League titles. Listen, we can't hate on it. We cannot hate on it. 5 Premier Leagues. Arsenal have 4. No, is it 4 or 3? 98, 2002, 2004. Yeah, they have 3. So that's ridiculous. So they've surpassed them. Liverpool have 1. United, we got 13. But, you know, we got 13. So it's a while until they link us. But honestly, like 5 and 5 with Chelsea. And are we going to be surprised if City go next season and do 6? We're not. It's time to really put respect to them. And listen, City, for me, people might not like it. And as I said, this is why it's called Don't Shoot the Messenger. But they've surpassed Arsenal as a football club now. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. More money, more ambition, win trophies, better manager, better squad. I mean, we can talk about history as much as we like, but you know, okay, yeah, Arsenal have the bigger fan base and bigger stadium and stuff like that, and the history. We understand that, but end of the day, no one in 2020 going into in 2021. Does anyone give a shit about history? No, we don't. So hey, I'm sorry. Hey, Man City, Man City have surpassed Arsenal, guys. I'm sorry. That's just in my opinion, and I've just given you the reasons why. They literally built themselves of taking your players and then going on to being more successful than you. What can you really do from there? So, guys, listen. As I said, this is Don't Shoot the Messenger. So, as I said, if it makes you mad, it makes you mad. But, guys, that is another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. It's myself, Culturecams. If it makes you mad, it makes you mad. And I'm out.